In an era where everyone thinks their opinions are so damn important, I'm here to give you a little piece of my mind. Welcome to Unaffiliated the Podcast with your host, B. Seth. Let's go.
Hello world, welcome to Unaffiliated the Podcast with your host, B. Seth. I have some special guests in the building today, man. P. Mike returning to the show in the flesh. What's up? What's poppin'?
Indeed. Back again. Thank you for having me, sir.
Of course, of course. And on the Zoom call today, we have Jade. Say what's up to the people. How you been? How's life?
What's up, people? I've been good. It's good to talk to both of y'all. Like, Brian, I haven't talked to you in like literally forever.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Since a long ass time.
Probably.
No, I did ass like a long ass time.
Yeah.
It has been.
Can't believe.
Well, good to talk to you again. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you got going on.
I'm doing an anime podcast, which is coming out in January, which I'm really excited about. Mm-hmm. So definitely, for sure, I want you guys to check that out when it does come around.
Do you have any working titles thus far?
None that are probably appropriate to say on your pod. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm kidding. So the working title is
that's that side of anime.
I am on that side.
Okay.
But nah. So the title is alt arc. So obviously, like in anime, there are specific arcs. Mm-hmm. So the title is alt arc, like an alternate arc.
Okay. Dope. How did you get into that space? Like, where did your love from anime come from?
So really, like right when COVID started, a little bit before, I went to my first con when I was living in Florida and kind of just like fell in love with cosplay, like the idea of doing something that's like outside of yourself. Mm-hmm. I've always been someone that's like pretty much very like love to dissociate, love to like dream, love fantasy world, always like daydreaming, and cosplaying kind of like brings that full circle for me because you're able to embody those characters and kind of like recreate them in a new imaginative way. So from there, I kind of just like made a lot of friends in that space when everybody was inside, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Explain to the people what a con is.
Ooh, con. So like a convention. A lot of people think of it as like musty niggas in costumes, and that's legitimate.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. It is a fact.
It goes on.
There's a lot of musty.
It's not that you're not going to see that. It's just there's other stuff going on as well.
Yeah. Right.
It is a fact, but it's lit. You get the opportunity to kind of like network with other cosplayers, meet other like weird ass people who like gaming, anime, manga. It's really just like a cesspool, and that's why I love it. So,
are there a lot of black people in the space? And I know the answer to this, but tell the listeners. Yeah,
so a lot of people don't believe that there are a lot of black people in the space, but surprisingly there are, especially in the community that I'm in, which is like anime podcasting and manga podcasting. There are a lot of black people of our age range too. So it's not like young biz, it's like people 25 and up who are doing anime podcasts, talking about making mangas and things like that, like really making dreams come true.
Dope.
Yeah. It's really cool. Millennials are really like taking over that space, honestly.
Since we were on anime, how does that community, because I know you're way more into that community than obviously both of us are. How do y'all feel about like Meg Thee Stallion and people like that that like are on anime? Because obviously she likes it. Obviously she may not be as deep into it as, you know, a real deal hardcore deep like fan of it. But like, how do y'all feel about that whole arena? Because it does seem like too, some people are hopping on the anime wave when it used to be like it was them weird. So like, how do y'all feel about it?
Good question.
So that's something that like comes up pretty frequent in the anime community. But they wholeheartedly like, we accept Meg as a weeb, as a blurred, like, which is like a black nerd. But when I first started getting into the space, I was on the same kind of wave, like, this is mad weird that suddenly like all these rappers and basketball players and celebrities are like with anime so heavy in this kind of way. But I mean, one of the big things about the anime community is that they are outliers. They are people who were always considered as like weird ass kids. So they're not the type of people who are like Meg Thee Stallion, what is she doing in this space? They more so are like, anime is for everyone. If you like anime, you fucking like anime. Whether you've seen 200 anime or you've only seen like one and you're just getting started. They be dragging Michael B. Jordan for saying Naruto though, so that nigga gets no slack.
Hey man, you say it how you say it. As long as you watch it.
He says Susuke and Naruto.
God. Let that man, that's like manga and manga, man. Let that man say what he feels comfortable with.
Hey, I said the same thing because Michael B. Jordan is Michael B. Jordan. He can say whatever the fuck he wants to say. But the community does not agree. They said, nah, that nigga ain't real.
Michael B. cannot catch a break on this podcast.
Oh, y'all did say that man is not a great actor.
Hey. But
what?
We don't need to rehash that.
Yeah, we'll do this later. But one thing I will say though, so I was an anime fan as a kid more so than I am now, but I still like to dabble. I will say the increasing interest in anime seemingly is adding more funds to that world, which is allowing a lot more people to come out with their shit and for people to be creative and just branch out and shit like that. So, like, I've been hearing from a lot of people that some recent animes are some of the best animes ever.
I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with that, though. Because a lot of it is just like, obviously clout chasing.
Well, that's an interesting paradigm then. The clout chasing versus can this help the community?
But I think it's good because anything that people see as marketable, like you're going to go through some commercialization.
You're going to have the bull. Yeah.
So it's like it's almost like a sign that it's a good thing because it's showing that there is more interest. So kind of like how you were saying, there's more people creating content. Some is going to be good, some not. Some is going to be clout chasing, some is going to be a money grab. But then it's just on the people viewing it and that community to pick and choose what we like, what we don't like what's real and what's not.
And what advice would you give somebody who might want to get into this cosplaying world and anime world? What websites should they look at or whatever? How should someone get started if they want to join the movement?
I mean, manga is pretty expensive right now, so there's plenty of sites that shall not be named where you can read.
Okay, for free.
where you can read, watch,
all right.
to kind of dabble. I do always say buy the shit, support the artist, but if you just want to put your toe in the water, that's a good place to start. Netflix has a pretty decent catalog of anime right now. It's not the best stuff. It's not. But they do have a pretty decent catalog where you can just kind of get started. Hunter x Hunter is a good place to get started.
I hear that a lot. I just started that actually.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah, it's a good place to get started. They have some JoJo's up on Netflix right now. I don't recommend that as a starting point, but it is, something that's, yeah, it might turn you off. Like if you're not into that, it might turn you off. But it's there. It's there to watch it. Prime has a pretty good selection of anime as well, and Hulu has really expanded their collection because they've started collaborating with Funimation. So really those are really good sources just to kind of start off. Hit me on Twitter. I'm a menace on Twitter though, so prepare yourself for that.
All right, she's a menace on Twitter, everybody. What does that mean?
So today the subject was chitlins for Thanksgiving and how it's equated to... We just ventured
into a new topic, but go ahead.
So we talked about chitlins and why it belongs at the Thanksgiving table.
Why it does?
Why it does, yes, with the capital D. I don't eat chitlins!
Jade, me and you have had this conversation. It
doesn't matter.
We are not slaves anymore, people. Look, people.
It doesn't matter. We're all slaves in a capitalist society.
We aren't.
Y'all eating turkey.
Black people. Because white people.
Do
white people eat chitlins?
No.
Okay.
They eat chitlins?
Black people.
I'm not white, though. I don't give a
I'm just saying because I was about to address the black people, but I had to think, do I need to address white people too? But no, they didn't eat it. You know why? Because they weren't slaves. Black people. These are
I don't know why y'all want to reject our ancestors.
No,
there's nothing wrong with chitlins.
No, because think about it. First off, we aren't slaves. Second of all, they're literally intestines, which means it's the bag. It holds your shit. Like you're eating.
My rebuttal is, how y'all gonna talk about chitlins when y'all eat ass?
You don't eat ass. You lick ass. I know they call it eating ass.
I don't know if I would lick
and there's no on the ass when you lick it. You will
There's no in chitlins when you eat it.
Jade has a point here.
No, she doesn't.
Only in this sense.
Yes, I do.
There should not be fecal matter on a chitlin. There should not be.
But
Exactly.
it's literally.
But
they
the
have-
likelihood
they have
of
to
an
clean it
asshole
times.
having fecal matter is a lot higher
I don't know.
than a
Is it?
piece
Exactly.
of the chitlin.
Is it?
It's a lot
Is it?
higher than
But
a chitlin.
Jade, he's
It's a
right
lot
though.
higher.
Is it though?
Licking that is different than eating a whole cup of chitlin or plate of chitlins.
Because what?
I mean, I would imagine it's probably worse because you're literally just licking. If it's fecal matter there, you're licking that up. You're lapping it up.
What is going there? Because if it's fecal matter back there, you can smell it. What is still willingly going to go lick and know and
Some wild
and what woman is going to allow you to, like, as soon as they feel you creeping back there, to let you keep going, knowing that they took a shit 3 hours prior and it's just gonna let you lick that.
Some wild women out here too,
Bruh.
Mike. It's just some wild motherfuckers across the board.
And either way, that's you might have, which I'm not condoning it either, but that's like a little bit of shit. You're eating a whole bowl of shit. Like a whole
It's
bowl.
not shit in the chitlins, bro. It's not shit in the chitlins.
They be cleaning chitlins with like cleaning supplies, bro. There is nothing on it. They clean them shits with Clorox.
Exactly.
But
Or
that's
something
bad though
else
that
with
you gotta
bleach.
clean some
It's
with
no
bleach though to
nutritional
eat it.
value.
That's
It
kind of
is what
bad
it is.
though.
It tastes delicious.
It's no
It's delicious.
value.
I mean,
It's delicious, bro.
Don't get me wrong. I do not with chitlins
It's no
at
point.
all.
It's no point.
How do you eat your chitlins? Because I for the people who with them, they usually have the same setup. So how do you ingest your chitlins?
Hot sauce,
God.
hot
That's
sauce,
it
and a
right
prayer.
there. It's always hot
Yeah,
sauce.
you gotta
And a
get the
prayer.
Is like
Louisiana.
chitlins or do they like hot sauce? People?
It's hot sauce.
I
That's
think
what
it's
it
hot
is.
It's
sauce,
hot
man.
sauce.
That's what it is.
Y'all want to eat
Nah,
them chitlins
it's
bare?
both.
That's why it's a
I be
it's a
eating them bare,
spiritual
though.
thing. It's a spiritual thing. Like
I
there
mix
ain't
them in with
other
my
way you
macaroni
eat
and
chitlins.
cheese.
Cause you
Like,
saying when you eat chitlins, you're getting closer to
1,000%. When you eat it, the ancestors speak to you. This is why y'all not right in this world because you don't eat
They
chitlins.
talking to you. They
If you-
saying, "Baby, why you still doing this?" Baby.
They say, baby,
If you
you
wanna
missed the spot
elevate your
over there.
life-
Baby, you missed the spot over there. There's still a little bit.
If you
of-
want to elevate your life, you need to get you a bowl of chitlins.
You do know there's
Need
a
to get
whole
you a bowl of
turkey
chitlins.
right by it, don't you?
But it's
Y'all eat turkey though?
I don't.
It's
I
dry.
only eat it on Thanksgiving.
Unless you fry it. Fried turkey is it's alright.
Only on
It's still dry.
It's still dry,
Yeah, it is.
but not as dry as non-fried turkey.
You know what it doesn't have? Any hint of
That is
Yeah.
wild though. The process of having to bleach this and then
multiple
just
times.
cover it in hot sauce for it to be edible or
You
delicious.
don't have to cover it. You just put a little.
Nah.
Oh,
We
nah,
got a
ain't
little
no-
bit on there.
Ain't no. I know, chill, man. You gotta goddamn bury that.
I mix it in with my macaroni and cheese.
Oh, what is going on?
No.
Chitlin macaroni and cheese? You've reached a whole different
It's a-
level
it's
of
a
being
delicacy.
black.
This brings another
It's
debate.
a delicacy.
This brings another debate because I don't even want to go into this any further. I heard some on Facebook saying macaroni and cheese is overrated. How do we feel about that?
What? Overrated from what? What's better
A
than
nigga said it was noodles and cheese, and I felt disrespected.
Okay, that's a fact.
It is a
That
fact
is a
though.
fact.
Just the fact that that's a fact, I had to say, is it right?
You know?
Be sure to follow Unaffiliated the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now on YouTube.